Beneath the waters, something strange is taking place. After dominating the waters for millions of years, apex predators are leaving their hunting areas. Great white sharks are escaping known areas. Groups of orcas are beaching themselves. On our coastlines, deep-sea animals that have never seen sunlight are perishing. This isn't online mythology or folklore. This is a proven scientific fact, and the pattern that is showing up is much more unsettling than any old sea monster myth. For what is emerging from the abyss? This video will provide an answer to that query. The Exodus begins. Tasmanian sea biologists recorded something in September 2020 that they could not comprehend. At Macquarie Harbour, more than 470 pilot whales abruptly forced themselves onto the coast. Despite the heroic efforts of rescue personnel, over 380 people perished. This was the biggest mass stranding episode in Australian history, thus it wasn't an isolated incident. But here's what made scientists truly uneasy. These whales showed no signs of disease, injury, or the usual causes of stranding. Their echolocation systems were functioning perfectly. They weren't disoriented, they weren't sick, they were fleeing. 3 months later, off the coast of New Zealand, another 100 pilot whales beached themselves. Then Indonesia, then the Philippines. The pattern was spreading, and it was spreading fast. When the killers become victims. Great white sharks began appearing in unusual locations, their behavior erratic and desperate. Off the coast of South Africa, where these predators had dominated the waters for millennia, something caused them to vanish almost overnight. Researchers tracking tagged individuals watched in real time as these animals fled their prime hunting territories. Orcas, killer whales, considered the ocean's most formidable predators, started exhibiting the same panic response. In Scotland, dead orcas washed ashore with no external injuries. In Alaska, entire pods were observed swimming in tight, anxious circles near the surface before moving rapidly away from their traditional feeding grounds. Dr. Sarah Patel, a marine behaviorist studying these events, noted something chilling. These animals aren't just relocating, they're exhibiting prey behavior. They're acting like something is hunting them. But what could possibly hunt an orca? Messages from the abyss. As surface predators fled, creatures from the deep began appearing in places they should never exist. In October 2023, fishermen off the coast of Chile pulled up their nets to find them filled with species that live 3,000 meters below the surface, depths where the pressure would crush a human skull like an eggshell. These weren't dead specimens that had floated up, they were alive, desperately swimming in the wrong world. Oarfish, serpentine creatures that can reach 11 meters in length and normally inhabit depths below 1,000 meters, started washing up on beaches across the Pacific. In California, 3 appeared in a single month. In Japan, there are dozens within a year. These animals are so rarely seen that many cultures consider them mythical. The Greenland shark, a species that lives in near-freezing Arctic waters at extreme depths and can live for 400 years, was spotted near the surface in unusually warm water off Norway, appearing disoriented and lethargic. But the most disturbing arrivals were the creatures science had barely documented, animals so alien in appearance that when they washed ashore, local communities genuinely wondered if they were looking at extraterrestrial life. The deep sea, Earth's true final frontier. To understand what's happening, you need to grasp just how extreme the deep ocean really is. The Mariana Trench descends nearly 11 kilometers. If you placed Mount Everest in it, the peak would still be over 2 kilometers underwater. At that depth, the pressure exceeds 1,000 atmospheres. Your body would be compressed to a fraction of its size before you even registered pain. No sunlight penetrates below 1,000 meters. The temperature hovers just above freezing. There's virtually no oxygen. It's a world of perpetual midnight, crushing pressure, and near total isolation. Yet life found a way. Evolution spent millions of years perfecting creatures for this environment. Bear-eye fish with transparent heads and upward-facing eyes. Giant squid with eyes the size of dinner plates to capture any trace of bioluminescence. Anglerfish with lures that glow with bacterial light to attract prey in absolute darkness. These animals are so specialized that bringing them to the surface is fatal. Their bodies literally cannot function outside their extreme habitat. They haven't evolved to rise, they've evolved to never leave. So why are they appearing on our beaches? Four horsemen of the deep. Scientists have identified four major factors, and they're all connected to human activity. The warming. Ocean temperatures have risen 1.5 degrees Celsius in the past century. You might be thinking that's barely noticeable. I wouldn't even feel that difference in my shower. But here's the thing. Imagine you've spent your entire life in a room kept at exactly 20 degrees Celsius. Not 19.9, not 20.1, exactly 20. For thousands of generations, your family lived in that same temperature-controlled environment. Your body, your metabolism, even your internal organs evolved to function perfectly at that one precise temperature. Now imagine someone slowly cranks up the heat, just 1.5 degrees. Suddenly, your heart races, your breathing becomes labored, you can't regulate your body properly. That tiny change, insignificant to someone who experiences daily temperature swings of 10 or 15 degrees, becomes a life or death crisis for you. That's what's happening to deep-sea creatures right now. They evolved in an environment where temperature barely flickered over millennia. What we've done in just a century represents a catastrophic upheaval for species adapted to absolute thermal stability. And it gets worse. As surface waters heat up, they expand and sink deeper, pushing that warmth down into the abyss. Warm water also holds less oxygen. It's a basic law of chemistry. So these creatures aren't just experiencing a heat wave, they're slowly suffocating in their own home. They rise desperately seeking cooler, oxygen-rich water and die before they ever reach it. What we've done in 100 years represents a catastrophic shift for species adapted to absolute thermal stability. The acoustic apocalypse. We've made the ocean deafeningly loud. Naval sonar, seismic testing for oil, commercial shipping. The ocean has become an echo chamber of human-generated noise. Whales navigate, hunt, and communicate using sound. Imagine trying to live your entire life inside an airport terminal with jets constantly taking off. Studies show that intense sonar can cause hemorrhaging in marine mammal brains. Even moderate noise pollution disrupts their ability to echolocate, essentially blinding them. When whales beach themselves with no apparent physical cause, researchers often find evidence of acoustic trauma. The plastic plague. By 2025, we've dumped an estimated 200 million tons of plastic into the ocean. It's now in the deepest trenches, in the bodies of creatures that have never encountered surface pollution, and in the food chain at every level. Microplastics have been found in the Mariana Trench. Think about that. We've contaminated the most remote location on Earth, a place fewer than 4 people have ever visited, with our waste. Deep-sea creatures consuming these particles suffer internal damage, starvation, and toxic buildup. The extraction. Deep-sea mining operations are now scarring the ocean floor, destroying ecosystems that took millions of years to develop. We're bulldozing an alien world we barely understand to extract minerals for batteries and electronics. Each mining operation displaces thousands of species, destroys geological formations, and creates sediment plumes that can spread for hundreds of kilometers. For creatures evolved in a stable, unchanging environment, this is ecological genocide. What the science really shows. Here's the uncomfortable truth. We're not witnessing random events. We're observing a systemic environmental collapse. When multiple species across different ocean zones exhibit the same desperate behavior simultaneously, that indicates a systemic crisis. The deep-sea creatures appearing at the surface aren't curiosities, they're refugees from an inhabitable habitat. Dr. James Morrison, an oceanographer who has spent 30 years studying deep-sea ecosystems, put it bluntly. What we're seeing is the equivalent of birds falling from the sky en masse. It's a clear signal that something is fundamentally wrong. The question isn't whether we should be alarmed, it's whether we'll act before the collapse becomes irreversible. The choice before us. The ancient Greeks told stories of Poseidon sending sea monsters to punish humanity's arrogance. We don't need mythology anymore. We've become our own sea monster. But unlike mythological creatures, we have the capacity to change, and change begins with every one of us. Stop single-use plastics, support sustainable fishing practices, demand that governments regulate deep-sea mining and industrial ocean noise, vote for leaders who prioritize ocean conservation, contribute to organizations working to establish marine protected areas. The ocean produces more than half the oxygen we breathe. It regulates our climate. It feeds billions. When it collapses, we collapse with it. Those whales beaching themselves aren't just dying, they're messengers. Those alien creatures appearing from the depths aren't omens of disaster, they're evidence that disaster is already here. The ancient monster doesn't lurk in the deep. We see it every time we look in the mirror. Are we proud of it? The ocean is screaming. Are we finally ready to listen?